2026, you're either fat or on GLP-1s. At least that's what it seems like, because everybody and their mother is trying to get their hands on this stuff. And it's because we've all been fed this lie that we're fat because we failed our diet, when in reality, our diet failed us. We're not lazy, we're just chemically attacked by our food every single day. In this video, I'm gonna go over the top 5 peptides you can use for your specific weight loss goals. It seems like everybody's being pushed towards GLP-1s. While those are really effective for some people, your goals are probably really different than who they're marketing to. And in this video, you're gonna find out what protocol is the best for your weight loss goals. During this video, we're gonna walk through every piece of the medical industry I think the doctors are getting wrong, but it is important to note I myself am not a doctor, nor should anything I say be misconstrued with medical advice. And if you're gonna follow through with any of the treatments we talk about in this video, it is important you do so under the direct medical supervision of a doctor. Just make sure it's someone who specializes in this kind of medicine. To start off, we have to understand why we have the obesity problem in the United States. It is not because of the crap they tell you that we live a sedentary life and that we live in offices and that we don't get enough exercise. Yes, that's a small contributing factor, but we have been working in offices for a century. But if you go back even 20, 30 years ago, our obesity rate was nowhere near what it is today. So what changed? The number one thing that changed is the food and the fuel that we are giving our people. Looking at things that are even known for being unhealthy have gotten dramatically worse. The ingredients of a Big Mac have more than tripled in the last 20 years. The ingredients of nearly all the food that we consume have tripled their ingredient list, and the list ranges from things like Big Macs to Oreos, all the way down to even healthy foods like ready-made meals with protein, vegetables, and carbs in between. All of them have nearly tripled their ingredient list, and you can't pronounce a single one of them. Imagine our body is a giant high-tech factory, and we had been operating cleanly and perfectly for decades. But about 50 years ago, we switched our fuel system from clean, proper, real fuel to fake, synthetic crap. That is what the introduction of seed oils did to the American diet, and it's the reason we are the most obese country on the planet. Canola oil, soybean oil, they're in almost everything, and they cause a process in our body called lipid peroxidation, which is the literal halting of the ability to burn your fat cells. Think of it as a biological rust for our internal factory. We are now rusting the cells that make up our factory, and they can't produce any power. This rust clogs the center of the power plant, which is our mitochondria. As we all know, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. We all took 5th grade biology. When your mitochondria is clogged, we don't have energy to output. Believe it or not, it gets worse than that. The food industry uses a process called hyper-palatability, which is the process of finding the exact ratio of salt, sugar, and fats to chemically rot our brain. Specifically, our leptin signaling, which is the body's ability to recognize when it's full. So quite literally, the food that we're eating is designed to not only rot us from the inside, but it's also designed to turn off our ability to understand when we've had enough food, just forcing this crap down our throats so that we remain fat and sick and reliant on their medications and solutions. It's easy to see why GLP-1s are the most marketed product on the marketplace today. Now, here's the silver lining. There are safe options and safe ways to do this treatment. There's also a lot of things you can do before having to reach this point. And I'm gonna go over what I believe are the best 5 ways to lose fat in 2026 with peptides. Each of the peptides we're gonna go over in this video are specifically designed for different goals. The most common one we see all the time is the person who says, I just want to lose fat. I don't care about anything else. This is for your person who is sitting above 25% body fat and really needs to focus on this. And the best answer is going to be GLP treatment. For me, the best GLP that I've used myself, as well as what everybody's favorite seems to be right now, Retatrutide, or as I like to call it, the hard R. If you're new to this peptide, it is a triple agonist GLP, meaning that it targets 3 different fat loss pathways. The first is GLP-1. This is what tells your stomach to slow down. It gives your body that ability to recognize when it's full and can even suppress your appetite to make sure you're getting full a little bit quicker. Then there's GIP, which tells your cells not to be so sticky and bind together and clump up, as well as to make sure that they're not getting inflamed and staying at a reasonable size. The third leg of this, and the most important, is the glucagon receptor. This is the biggest difference between the hard R and any of the other GLPs. Personally, I would not recommend Ozempic, Semaglutide, or Tirzepatide, Mounjaro. I personally think they do more harm than good because of how much they block your ability to eat. Where Retatrutide's main focus lies in increasing your metabolic rate, that glucagon receptor. It tells your body that even in a resting state, we are going to burn through the fat cells quicker and use that for energy. The studies in the forums online show that people are losing 25% of their body weight on average if you fall in this category. That's like a 200-pound person going down to 150 pounds. For people that are obese or suffering from high body fat, there is not a better compound on the market that I have seen for myself or from anyone else. This next one you guys have heard me talk about if you follow this page at all. It is my favorite peptide of all time, and that is the Tesamorelin Ipamorelin combo. This is specifically for people who want to target belly fat. Me, that's where I carry all of my fat, is in my lower stomach and my neck. It's the most unattractive and unhealthy fat. It's your visceral fat. Tesamorelin is specifically designed to target that visceral fat around the stomach. Think of Retatrutide like a big butcher's knife. Tesamorelin is more like a scalpel that targets that specific dirty fat. It works especially well when paired with the Ipamorelin, which gives it that extra GH pulse, giving your body the ability to not only lose fat, but also keep and maintain muscle mass. It also supercharges the Tesamorelin to help it work a little bit better. This is why this is my favorite peptide of all time, and it has gotten me the best results in terms of aesthetics, burning fat, building muscle at the same time as most guys drink. Which prior to a few years ago, if you were to tell a physical trainer that you wanted to burn fat and build muscle at the same time, he would either laugh at you or he would tell you to get on steroids. Next on the list is gonna be 5-amino-1-MQ. This is gonna be the best for somebody who's coming off of a bulk and going into a cut. A lot of people go through this phase when they're working out and then they get huge, but they have a little too much fat, and then they want to take it all off, but they end up stripping away some of the muscle they built along the process. 5-amino-1-MQ is heavily studied for its ability to turn off your body's fat store mechanism and uptake your body's muscle building mechanism so that you can put on a little bit more size while also getting rid of your fat. This process is called NNMT inhibition. NNMT acts as your body's internal version of an emergency brake. It puts a hard stop on the enzyme in your body that makes you store fat, and it also upregulates your ability to put on muscle at a quicker rate, which is why it sometimes gets described as exercise in a bottle. This is gonna be one of those peptides that you're probably not gonna notice unless you're actively going to the gym, lifting weights, and trying to become stronger. This is not gonna be something you wanna do for pure fat loss. A lot of times on the forums online, people confuse this with a fat loss peptide. Yes, it stops your body's ability to put on so much fat, but that doesn't mean it's removing the fat from your body. What it's really doing is reallocating those resources from fat into muscle. That's why unless you're someone who's going to the gym a lot, I wouldn't really recommend this peptide. But if that is you, this is gonna be a much better option than jumping to something like Reta. This next one is what I believe is the most misunderstood fat loss peptide in the community, and that is AOD 9604. AOD is a fragmented version of growth hormone, so it's just a little sliver, and it's only the part that affects lipolysis. Lipolysis is your body's ability to burn through fat cells or pop them. It doesn't mess with your blood sugar or your body's ability to put on muscle. Its main job is just to find fat and destroy it. This is gonna be for people who are in pretty good shape, but are looking to target very specific fat. That's gonna mainly be our fat around the love handles, the lower back, some of the stuff around the face. It targets that lingering stuff that won't go away, but it really works like a cherry on top, not as something you wanna lose for massive fat loss. That's not what this is gonna do. Love handles are one of the biggest nuisances when it comes to perfecting your physique because it's such a lumpy, weird area, but it's only from such little fat that it takes to have them. AOD is really effective at targeting those aesthetic pieces of your body fat to make sure you have that V line that you're looking for, even if you're already a pretty low body fat percentage. Some people just carry it in uncomfortable places. When I did AOD, I noticed a huge reduction in fat for my love handles, and I had this permanent V taper coming in from my lower stomach line, as well as my neck and jawline were looking a lot more trim because I was able just to pinpoint those extra areas of fat that I had. What's really important in all of these is understanding how to use them. When it comes to the Reta, you can take that at pretty much any time of the day. It's not gonna depend on the food you eat. But with some of the other ones, it's really important. Tesa-IPA, I personally have gotten the best experiences when it comes to taking it first thing in the morning, and the longer you can go fasted without eating again, the more effective it's gonna be at targeting that visceral fat around the stomach. Same thing with the Ipamorelin, anything in that GH realm, you wanna be fasted when you take it to pulse the growth hormone as much as possible. When it comes to the AOD, similar rules apply because it is fragmented from growth hormone. The best time of day to take it is gonna be first thing in the morning, and then you wanna be fasted when you do this to give your body the optimal fat burning output. The same is going to go for 5-amino-1-MQ, not because of any sort of GH pulse, but taking this on a fasted stomach gives your body the ability to process it and use it for your metabolism as opposed to being clouded by the food in your system. And lastly, to understand that each of these are going to take time, the best thing you can do when it comes to any of the fat loss peptides is first understanding your goal, understanding what calorie count it's going to take to get there, and then bringing the peptides in as your ace in the hole to make sure the process happens faster. You don't want to use these to replace diet and exercise habits. You want to use these to increase the speed at which the results happen. There's a huge difference, and a lot of people think that GLPs and this other stuff are just get out of jail free cards. That, in my opinion, as well as a lot of those who are respected in the community, would agree that that is a much more dangerous approach, especially when it comes to removing exercise from your daily lifestyle. The health benefits of it are endless and well documented, and anyone who is looking to use this as a cheat code to skip out on exercise and diet, I would not recommend any of that. As always, the best way to make sure you're getting results from these peptides is to make sure you're going through either a licensed 503A or 503B compounding pharmacy or a medical director who is giving you supervision on how to use these products and vetting and making sure the products that you're using are of the highest quality. Because every single time I talk to somebody who says, I didn't get the experience I wanted out of peptides, ordered them off of some garbage research site in order to save a couple $100. Peptides are not supposed to cost the same as vitamin supplements. It is a medical compound that is designed to operate the way your body functions. Do not skimp out on this, otherwise you might as well just light your money on fire. It is few and far between to find the research company that is actually giving you great product. Otherwise, they would just do it the right way. Most of the time, it is marketed by influencers to depict these crazy results in order just to sell you guys more peptides. The way to take all the questions out of the equation is to go through a doctor and a licensed medical physician who is going to get this stuff from a pharmacy or a source that they trust. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, I post 2 videos a week where I talk about everything going on in the medical space between hormones, peptides, and everything in the realm of optimization. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and go in the comment section and tell me which of these peptides you've either tried or are excited to try next. Until next time.